My name is Jerry Morris. Thanks for tuning in. I do psychic readings on crime mysteries and crime cases, particularly when the law enforcement don't know where to go. Maybe we can give them a different perspective or information that they hadn't maybe thought about. I got two cases that we've talked about before, but additional information has come forward. It's really interesting. So the first one is, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago that we talked about Shannon Scott in Northern California. He supposedly went off to the VA one morning driving 60-mile trip and hasn't been seen since. A lot of suspicious things going on there. Um, he had a phone ping near Sacramento, um, about 11 miles, I think, that day, but nothing has been heard of him since. So the interesting thing is that thanks to one of my viewers, um, got notice that his daughter, Shaylee, who lives with her dad and has been, I think, only for about 6 or 7 months, was arrested for violating probation. And it's intriguing how this whole thing came about. Shaylee has sort of a checkered past. She's young. She has 4 kids. She and with her boyfriend are living or we're living with the dad, Shannon. She was convicted of elderly abuse approximately a year ago. The abuse was she had taken a credit card from the older gentleman that she was caring for and was supposed to buy him some groceries and items like that. And she used it for her own personal use and cash and paid her bills and so forth. So they rung her up on that, gave her probation. Shortly after, I think she moved in with her father along with the kids and boyfriend. uh, she was arrested 5 days ago for violation of probation. And it was interesting how this all came about. And I'll read it here. It says, Shaylee Scott, 25, was arrested at the scene on February 24th for charges relating to violation of probation and possession of firearms, according to the sheriff's office. A forensic team with the Department of Justice aided detectives in serving the warrant. Now, I thought that's very interesting. Obviously, the forensic team is not up there looking for signs of fraud. They're looking for signs of murder. Probably did a spray of the area for blood that was washed away and so forth. And there's been no um, there's been no news since the arrest. I'll tell you what I get on this is that I felt there's foul play. I also see his body at a location that is way far away from the route that he was supposed to be taken. I feel like I feel like the boyfriend may have asked to ride into Sacramento with Shannon, and on the way, the boyfriend accosted, murdered uh, Shannon Scott, and then taken the body in the Fiat, taken the body at a location that I will suggest to the police that they look at closely. I didn't know what the boyfriend looked like. I don't even know what his name is really, but it doesn't matter. I had a very firm picture of what this person who killed Shannon looked like. And then one of the viewers sent me a picture of Shaylee's boyfriend, and they look very, very close. The person I got was a slightly heavier, but the same height, same coloring, same facial hair, and so forth. So, so anyway, I have relayed this information to the sheriff's department. I think it's Calaveras County, and also I do know that they are onto this. That they have to do a little more than suspect. So I feel that it is the boyfriend, and I think it's all going to come out. I think Shaylee knows about this. She's covering for the boyfriend, and I don't think necessarily they planned it. They may have, but I just feel like that this was something that the boyfriend had been planning and wanted to get the dad out of the way so that they could inherit the place, live on their own there, and who knows what's going through. So I just thought this was an interesting update. Thank you, viewers, for keeping me informed. I don't search these cases day in and day out, so anything that you can tell me about them would be great. The other one is one I've been asked to do time and time again, and I've done it one time, but there's a lot more information. And this is a gal named Karlie Guse. Very pretty girl, 16, also Northern California, that walked away one morning and never to be seen again. She was on drugs probably that morning and had gotten into drugs previous to this. And I see her at the railroad tracks. And then I use a technique, and I wish I'd have used it in the Jamie Class case, but I use a technique of basically a pendulum. And I will put it over a map and try to find out where this person is, dead or alive. If the person is dead, the pendulum will rotate counterclockwise. If the person is alive, it'll rotate clockwise. So I've been working on this and with this with Karlie, trying to find her. She is alive. She's in bad shape based on my vision the first time I got into this. She is on drugs. She's most likely being trafficked. And I'll tell you about it. It's very interesting. So I got that she left home and went towards Sacramento, then down towards the outskirts of San Francisco, and then to San Jose. From there, my pendulum went off the map, and so I had to expand the area, and lo and behold, I see her landing in Hawaii. Now, does that sound strange? It sounded strange to me because I don't know anything about trafficking in Hawaii and so forth. But in doing my research, I could not believe it, is that the most lax state as far as punishing sex traffickers is Hawaii. They didn't even have a law against it until 2016. And that was only because there was a alliance formed called PASS, and it stands for Pacific Alliance to Stop Slavery, because it was so rampant in Honolulu and in some of the other major cities as well. And it's to and in the beginning it was Asian girls being coerced into this lifestyle from the Philippines, from China, and so forth. But the taste of the rich Asian men has gone to tall blondes. And so they're trafficking a lot of this style of woman from Ukraine, from Russia, Poland, Sweden, Slavic nations, and America. And Karlie is a part of this. Now, if you notice her picture, she has brown hair, but I understand from an article that I just picked up that some weeks before she disappeared, she dyed her hair very light, and in one description they give her a description and call her a blonde. So she fits this. She's vulnerable because she was on the drugs, and she had a very poor supporting family. She didn't like living with her um, stepmother, and so she has been trafficked around to Hawaii. And the season, this is a high season for this because it's the high tourist season. So what we want to do is I want to contact the right people over there. If you can, and if you would, please do some research on whom I can contact with this information. I think if we put it out and say that I got like 4,000 viewers or almost. Say that there's 4,000 people in the United States who firmly believe that there's an excellent chance that Karlie is in uh, this lifestyle in Honolulu and only will be there for probably another 3 weeks. I think that might um, help our cause, help her cause. And I want to get that information to pass, get that information to the Vice Squad. And I just don't quite I'd like a fax, which I can, fax my letter and this picture to them. So if you can come up with that and just write me. And also, like I did with Calaveras Sheriff's Department. I just text the main detective or the hotline. I can't remember. And so I just want some way to get in touch with them. This is Sunday, so I'd like to do it on Monday morning. So if you could write me, it would be wonderful. And I do think we could come to a very successful solution for both of these cases, but particularly for Karlie because she's alive and her life can be restored. So next time certainly within the next 2 weeks, I'll talk to you about John Benet Ramsey. Everybody is pretty much off about the whole thing. I'll tell you what I see, and I see it very, very clearly. And we'll go over that, and then we'll go over another case. And I haven't heard anything from the Nicole Olson case in San Antonio, which is also very fascinating. I keep thinking that forensics will come back from the FBI on that. So thanks for watching. I do appreciate it very much, and I will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.